studies. So here's a patient of mine. So she's 39. She actually just recently turned 40. She has a history of H. pylori and gastric ulcers at a pretty early age. So she was only 11. She has a history of depression and anxiety, treated with medication. And she said back when she was in her 20s, she had a lot of UTIs. So she was on a lot of antibiotics during that time. So a couple of years ago, she developed severe diarrhea after they changed her meds for depression and anxiety. And she wasn't sure why medication changes would cause this symptoms. And so she started having really bad diarrhea. So she went to, it was with me, but she met with someone else, a different dietitian, and she did the low FODMAP diet from December of 2021 to February of 2022. And when she tried to do the reintroduction, she wasn't able to tolerate any of the FODMAP reintroductions. So then last summer, she was actually, that summer of the 2022, she was diagnosed with SIBO, and then she was treated with Xifaxan. And then unfortunately, when they retested her in September, her SIBO test was still positive. So then she went on another round of Xifaxan, and then she added on some herbal treatment for SIBO, and then she did the FODMAP reintroduction again. So we did use, this elimination, reintroduction, personalization, as we usually do with FODMAPs. So I came into working with her after she had been on the first round of Xifaxan, but before she had started the second round. So that's when I came into her case. And so after she did reintroduction, she found out that her major FODMAP triggers were fructans, especially wheat and garlic and onions. And she missed eating out because by this point, she hadn't really been able to eat out or go and spend time with friends and family, eating at restaurants or eating at family members' houses for quite some time. It'd been nearly a year. And so she was desperate to be able to eat some of these foods that she really missed. And so I said, hey, I think FODZYME would be an easy thing for you to try. And so I gave her some samples and she tried it and she liked it so much that she would send me an email that was titled Summer Fun with FODZYME. So that was actually a message. So I wanted to find out how she was doing because I hadn't seen her for a bit. So I sent her a message right before we met, or just right before this session. And she actually sent me this quote. And so I wanted to put it out there for you to read today. So she said, I would tell people they've got nothing to lose. It's a great option for eating normal when you go on vacation, you're traveling, or you want to take a break from eating low FODMAP. Occasionally, I will have a mild reaction to taking it, but she said she called it abnormal bowel movements, but she said it's nothing compared to my usual symptoms. I can finally show up to holidays and parties and eat what everyone else is eating and not have to prepare myself a whole separate meal. It's been a lifesaver. And she just has messaged me several times saying how much she really likes using FODZYME because it really has allowed her a little bit more freedom in her eating. Now, another case study that I wanted to share with you was a different patient. So this is a 79-year-old female. She has a history of binge eating, and this is her words, not mine. So she's not been formally diagnosed with an eating disorder. She has a history of alternating diarrhea, constipation, bloating, and gastroesophageal reflux disease. She was diagnosed with SIBO. This is really interesting. In February, so she took the test in February of 2022, but it took until October or November of 2022 for the doctor to actually look at, interpret, and give the patient the results. So that whole time she had SIBO and nothing was done about it. So during that time, she was miserable. She felt terrible. So we did FODMAP elimination, we did reintroduction, and she was another person that didn't really tolerate reintroduction, probably because she still had SIBO at that time. So one of the things that we did is we switched from psyllium to sun fiber. I don't know if you've seen it, but there's a little bit of research that shows that people that take sun fiber during SIBO treatment can benefit from, they had more resolution of their SIBO when they were taking the sun fiber during treatment, during the Xifaxan treatment. So I did switch her from psyllium to sun fiber. She was treated for SIBO. Then she started binging again. So that was kind of a problem. And then we also suggested adding FODZYME because there were still a few foods that she wasn't able to eat. And she's a single woman and she is very active in her community. And so a lot of her socializing is spent with her friends eating out. And so FODZYME sounded like a good addition for her. So the results of this is that she is still managing her binging, so that's been an issue. She's also managing her bowel movements with diet, with fiber and magnesium. So she still sometimes has alternating diarrhea, constipation. But again, she was able to eat out with her friends, again, using FODZYME. And she's, I think, gotten several reshipments of it because she likes it so much because she eats out. So I think it's good to know, like, who is this product good for? And so if you have someone that maybe is an older patient that you don't want to do the full elimination diet with, that you think maybe they would just benefit from adding a little bit of different FODMAP enzyme, this may be a good option for them. Then you don't have to do the full FODMAP elimination diet, or you could do FODMAP gentle and diet, and then you could also add something like FODZYME to it. So I feel like there's a lot of different applications in different patient populations. If you have someone with a formal diagnosed eating disorder and you don't need to be doing a full elimination diet for patients in that category, then using something like FODMAP enzyme, I think would be another great idea. So it's trying to figure out, who's the best candidate for this. And really, there's not really that many people that I don't think would benefit from FODZYME unless they know that their particular triggers are polyols, because there's no digestive enzyme for that particular FODMAP, or if it's just fructose, then we know that there's a fructose enzyme that's just right for them. But other than that, if they've got an issue with the fructans, they have an issue with the galactans, they have an issue with lactose, then something like FODZYME, I think, would be a great fit for them. So that's just my contribution today. Just a couple of things I wanted to talk about and share with you. And now on to questions.